Good day, aspiring friends! Welcome back to another lesson of the Great Fur House. This is your host, Rosales, and today we will be tackling Pet Owner's Confession, a day in the life of Furren. The content of this part of the lesson would be based from the experiences of pet owners and from Cretaceous lifetime confessions that every dog owners realize. Joining us in our podcast today is dog breeder and certified Furren, Vincent Rainier Mira. I know I have already introduced you, but please introduce yourself.
Hi, Carl, and hello to everyone who's listening today. My name is Rainier, and I am a campaign specialist for the Philippine Star. I've been with them for about 4 months, and I have other rackets then aside from Philippine Star, because I also work as an account manager for some advertising agencies in Manila.
What inspired you to become a Furren?
Hmm. That's a tough question. What inspired me to become a fur parent? Well, I honestly don't know. I have to admit that buying Alaska was out of impulse. But prior to buying her, I already had a plan of owning my pet, but I didn't plan it as soon as last year. I was hoping that I would get my own pet after I bought my own house, or probably I bought my own car. So uh, to answer the question, I don't recall any inspiration. I don't recall any particular scenario that sparked my interest to buy Alaska. It was really out of impulse, because when my friend offered her to me, I was immediately caught off guard. I fell in love with the puppy. I saw, you know, cliche, but I kind of felt there's a spark. She's really cute, and she was really, really adorable in her videos. So that's it.
You mentioned Alaska. I'm curious to how many dogs do you own, Rainier?
Currently, I have 4 dogs. I'm actually a breeder, so that's why I have. There's too many of them. So one of them is already sold, but she's staying with me until I finishes some of the renovations of her house. So after that, I'll only have 3 dogs.
Wow, that's certainly a lot of responsibility. I could only commit to one dog for now. Sometimes dog owners are proud masters of more than one dog. In such cases, they might experience the fact of giving more care or love towards more than one pet. It is like loving a child more than the other sometimes, but you love them equally. It is a weird feeling, which even makes them feel guilty from time to time, but it is an honest confession to make. So, can you introduce us to these dogs that you currently have, Rainier? I'm sure our aspiring furrets are excited to visualize them.
The dogs that I own are Siberian Husky, and one is an Aspen, so Asong Pinoy. So my Huskies' names are Alaska. She's my original baby, and then my grand fur babies are Bella. She's a white Siberian Husky, a white and gray Siberian Husky, and then Blair, who who's who's going to be left with me. So her color is black and white, just like Alaska. And then the Asong Pinoy, or the Aspen that I have, it's actually a family pet. So I don't solely own her. I'm not her owner. I mean, the family owns her. So her name is Yogi.
Siberian Huskies, huh? For the friends who are aspiring to get this type of dog, Siberian Husky is an impressive athlete and a loyal companion. They have high energy and absolutely need to get enough exercise. This is opposite with my dog Pugsy, who is a toy dog and would want to just stay at home. They have high energy and absolutely need to get enough exercise. Otherwise, it should be expected that they will begin bouncing off the walls, so make sure to have an ample time dedicated for their exercise. How does your day-to-day activities look with them, Rainier?
Well, honestly, my day-to-day activity is pretty simple. That only involves feeding them, letting them go potty, and playing with them around the house. The only reason why I don't walk Alaska anymore and her puppies is because they're still young. The puppies are still young, and Alaska might be a carrier if I go or if I let her walk. I mean, if I walk her in the village again. But before or prior to her pregnancy, we would normally walk around for 30 minutes. We would go around the streets, we would visit friends. But ever since uh she delivered the baby, the puppies, we skipped that activity because we really wanted to make sure that the babies are healthy and would not contract any virus or parasite because they're still vulnerable. Then my day usually starts very early kasi my puppies, Bella and Blair, they have a strong appetite pa. So they would cry early in the morning, like 5 a.m. ish or 6 a.m. ish, because they're hungry. So that means that I have to wake up, prepare their food, and then let them go party again. So that's it. That's my day-to-day activity.
I can understand that the fear of the dog developing any disease out of nowhere, which can be infectious, is also a kind of fear shared by most of the dog lovers. Practically, from my experience, I won't even let Pugsy go out as frequent as before since we are still in a pandemic. Though they get their vaccines timely, yet any dog can have any disease. Seeing as you have a high energy dog that does not get to go out much due to delivering a baby or babies, how does that work? Are there annoying parts like having destroyed furnitures or destroyed parts of the house?
The most annoying part of being a fur parent, well, honestly, it's because Alaska is a Siberian Husky. That's the most annoying part. And, Siberian Huskies are very, very, very active. They're very hyper. They're easily bored. And when they're bored, they do evil stuff. Yeah, evil stuff. Because they would destroy anything that they can destroy.
I want to ask this question because I can attest to this. Dogs are very clingy. Even my Pugsy sleeps beside me or even takes up most of my bed from time to time. In terms of personal space, do you still have one, Rainier?
This is something that everyone can relate to, especially if you have a pandemic baby. That's a term people coined in the internet. It's a pandemic fur baby because, unlike dog owners before the pandemic, their dogs are most likely used to them being away in the office or being there only for about 2 days or even at night. Alaska and her babies are pandemic fur babies. They were born during the pandemic, so they're extra clingy. They're super clingy, and if only I can show you a picture of a part of the door or of our bathroom door that Alaska broke, you would know definite that I don't have a personal space. But it's fine. I mean, I don't really mind sharing my bed with her. I don't really mind her constantly following me everywhere and crying whenever I leave. I don't really mind because I find it comfortable too, because it feels great that your dog your dog values you and she treats you like the most lovable human being on earth. I don't think it's a negative part, but
Yes, after the day's work, if you enter the room to find your dog on your bed, it may not be a very pleasant sight. Though many dog owners sleep with their favorite pet, they do agree that the animal is noisy and smelly at times, just like my Bugsy. He is both smelly and noisy. Huffing sound is not a very pleasant sound to hear when you're sleeping, but it's finally good to realize that I am not the only one experiencing this. Before we end the session, Rainier, do you have any tips for our aspiring friends? Since I'm giving out lessons for those who are thinking about getting a dog as part of their family.
Siguro my advice would be the advice I wish I had before getting in Alaska. So to all the aspiring fur parents, think about it first. Assess yourself, assess your expenses because it's not uh, cheap. It's not they're not disposable to begin with. So assess yourself, assess your current status if you're already responsible enough to get one, if you're already financially stable to get one. Because if you already buy or if you already decided to buy one and you already took in one, I promise you your money will only be spent buying dog food, vaccinations, checkups, toys, and many more. Again, owning a pet is like having your own baby. So look into that and check if that's something that you would want long term. And lastly, I guess you need to have a lot of patience, regardless of the dog or regardless of the species. You have to have patience, and you have to have you must learn that love should be stronger than anything else. And that's it. I guess that's something that I can tell to our listeners who are aspiring fur parents. That's it.
Thank you so much, Rainier, for joining us in our podcast session. I hope with this podcast, friends, we're able to learn through the confession of a veteran pet owner with regards to their day-to-day activities. This is not in any way or meant to scare you, but to prepare you. If having a baby requires preparation, then so is having a fur baby. Again, this is Carl Rosales, and see you on our next session, and I hope that you are having a great day and stay safe.